For several months now, in the touristic city of Sousse, independent journalist Hamdi Ben Saleh has been looking at containers full of Italian garbage from the terrace of his office. It has a direct view of the port.
Over there, you can see the containers where the Italian waste is being stored. 212 containers have arrived since June 2020, and they're still here today. And for months, we as citizens and civil society members have been demanding that all this garbage be returned to where it came from, Italy.
In a Facebook publication dated July 2020, he was the first to denounce what he calls the Italian waste scandal. It was his sources at the Sousse port who sent him documents and visual evidence.
Everything I revealed was backed up with photos. The inside of the containers, the company's tax ID number, and the type of waste. It's all right here. And in this video you can see that there's no machine, no infrastructure for the eventual sorting and recycling of these tons of waste. The place is totally empty.
In November 2020, Ben Saleh's revelations were shown on a Tunisian TV report, which made a big impact. A judicial investigation was opened soon after and is still ongoing. Several Tunisian officials are suspected of embezzlement, and the CEO of the importing recycling company, who is on the run, is accused of forgery and fraud. 26 people face charges, with 7 of them in detention, including the former environment minister, who was sacked right after the scandal. Hamdi worries the case may be buried.
The Tunisian people were shocked by this story, but the anger has subsided. And today, 10 months later, the waste is still here. Meanwhile, the Tunisian authorities have proved incapable of returning the waste to its sender.
At the diplomatic level, things are moving very slowly between two countries that want to settle the affair amicably. On the Italian side, the company in question continues to appeal to the courts to absolve them of responsibility for customs issues and repatriation of the waste. This environmental law professor in Sfax is part of an environmental association network, Green Tunisia, fighting to get more information on the case.
For example, we had to print, read and translate the decisions in Italy. The Tunisian state isn't informing the people enough. We don't have enough updates on this case. So we citizens and civil society have to keep the pressure on them. We have to send letters and post messages on social media. It's the Italian state that's at the source of this illegal trafficking of waste and garbage. So Italy has the obligation to take it back.
In Tunisia, the affair was all the more shocking since the country already struggles to manage its own garbage. Local governments are often overwhelmed and lack resources. The 2.4 million tons of household waste produced each year are mostly buried in landfills, like here in Burj Shakir, the biggest in the capital. This is where the garbage of 38 districts gathers. It's at capacity, so has to close this year. This elected local official still doesn't know where their district will put their waste once the landfill closes.
Yes, it's true that a consultant group has been tasked with thinking about the aftermath of this closure, but we're not in the loop and don't know anything. Right now in Tunisia, it's as if there's no waste management strategy whatsoever.
This landfill is far from being the only challenge. In Gammart, an upscale and touristic suburb of Tunis, a waste transfer center has become an open-air dump right beside homes and a lake. In the Radis forest, south of the capital, environmental activist Houssem Hamdi shows us this unauthorized dump.
So here you see this mountain of garbage, and there, all around me, you even have construction waste. Basically, everyone here treats the forest as a giant trash can. And this is just a small example of what's happening throughout the entire country right now. There's no difference between an informal dump like this one and official ones. But ultimately, they both have the same negative impact on the environment. Our way of managing waste is really disastrous.
Facing these challenges, civil society is doing what it can. Houssem directs a non-profit association that tries to raise awareness about waste sorting. In Sousse, we meet Hamdi again, who continues his fight to send back the Italian waste.
Here's our tent with the volunteers. We've been here many days now. And these are metal bins which we bang on to make noise so that we can get our message out. We're staying right here, next to the port entrance, to make sure that no container leaves this place.
And time is running out, especially for those working the port. Our camera is not authorized to enter, but an employee came out to speak to us.
It bothers us a lot. That's why we spoke out in the first place. Between the odor and the filth, we're fed up.
The new environment minister has tried to reassure Tunisian media. In early April, he announced that the case is moving forward and that the waste will be sent back to Italy, but without giving a deadline.